All right, let's just dive right in. You know that feeling, right? You're trying to nail down some complex physics or just memorize a few key dates for a history exam. You open your book, you're all set to go, and then, boom, within minutes, your mind is just somewhere else completely. Well, today, we're going to crack open an ancient secret for achieving what I can only describe as God-level focus. And the coolest part? It's a technique so powerful that modern science is actually backing it up. So does this whole scenario sound a little too familiar? You sit down, you're totally determined to get some studying done, but 10 minutes later, you realize you've been reading the exact same sentence over and over and over again. Your mind just wanders off. Look, you are definitely not alone in this, and I need you to hear this. It is not some kind of personal failure. The world we live in is practically engineered to shatter your concentration. I mean, you've got your phone buzzing every few seconds with notifications, you've got your own thoughts just drifting away to a million other worries, and on top of all that, there's the crushing pressure of the exam itself, the fact that some of these subjects are just plain hard, and that terrifying little voice in your head screaming that your syllabus is still half finished. It feels like you're fighting a battle on all fronts, doesn't it? Okay, so let's get into the why. Why is this so hard? This isn't about you lacking willpower. The truth is, we are living through a massive focus crisis. Our brains are literally being rewired for distraction every single day. And here's a wild fact for you. Because of the constant fire hose of information from social media and everything else, the average human attention span has plummeted down to just 60 seconds. Think about that. Our brains are being trained to want a brand new thing to look at every single minute. That's what you're up against. But what if the answer wasn't some new productivity app, but a really, really old secret? So I want you to travel back in time with me, thousands of years, to a story about a legendary archer. Now, this isn't just some old myth. It's a powerful lesson, a masterclass in the art of concentration that holds the key to beating our modern-day distractions. The story starts with a great teacher, Dronacharya. He's got his students gathered for an archery test. He's placed this little wooden bird on a branch way off in the distance. And as each student comes up, he asks them all the same simple question. Tell me, what do you see? So the first student steps up, aims, and says, I see the tree, I see the branches, the green leaves, and oh yeah, the bird. The teacher just tells him to step aside. The next student comes up, says, I see the leaves, I see some fruit, the sky behind it, and the bird. One by one, they all do the same thing. They describe the entire scene. They see everything. But then the student Arjun comes forward. And when the teacher asks him that same question, his answer is completely different. He says, Teacher, I don't see the tree. I don't see the branches. I don't see any leaves. I see only the eye of the bird. Wow. That laser-like focus. That was the secret sauce that made him the greatest archer of his time. So how in the world do we get that for ourselves? Okay, now here's where it gets really fascinating. What Arjun did thousands of years ago, all based on instinct, modern neuroscience can actually explain today. His legendary focus wasn't magic. It was a very real, very specific neurological state that, believe it or not, any of us can learn to tap into. So the first big idea here is something called selective attention. Think of it like your brain's built-in spam filter. Just like Arjun mentally filtered out the tree, the leaves, the sky, everything that wasn't his target, your brain can be trained to filter out the noise of phone notifications and random thoughts. He wasn't just ignoring them. His brain decided they were completely irrelevant to the mission. And when you really master that selective attention, you can enter what scientists call a flow state. You know this feeling. It's when you're totally in the zone. And get this, when you're in that state, brain scans actually show a huge increase in something called alpha waves. These are literally the brain waves of calmed, focused attention. That's the neurological sweet spot we're aiming for. The difference this makes is just staggering. Seriously, think about it. A chapter that might normally take you 2 hours to slog through with all the usual distractions and rereading, in a true flow state, some studies suggest you could absorb that same exact information in as little as 20 minutes. It just proves the goal isn't to study harder, it's to study smarter by focusing better. So, of course, the big question is, how do I actually do this? Especially when you're stressed out at your desk or in an exam hall. Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, and it's literally right in your hands. It's called the Gyan Mudra. Gyan means knowledge, and mudra means gesture. So it's the gesture of knowledge, and it is so easy to do. Just sit comfortably with your back straight, Gently bring the tip of your index finger to touch the tip of your thumb, making a little circle. Let your other 3 fingers just relax. Then, just rest your hands on your knees with your palms facing up and hold that position while you study. That's it. Now, this isn't just some symbolic thing. Neuroscientists believe that this simple physical posture can help activate your hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that basically acts like the save button for memories and new information. You're pretty much using a physical trick to tell your brain, hey, pay attention. This next part is important. Remember it. And look, this isn't just theory. A recent study, just from 2024, found that students who used simple hand gestures, like this one, actually improved their focus by up to 20%. Just stop and think about that. Imagine having a 20% focus advantage in your next exam just by changing the way you place your hands. That's a huge deal. So the next time you sit down to study, I want you to remember Arjun. Your goal, whether it's to master one single chapter or solve one really tough problem, that's your bird's eye. Everything else, the phone, the worries, the noise, it's all just leaves and branches. Use the Gyan Mudra as your tool to filter it all out and lock onto your target. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about the entire massive syllabus for just a moment. What is the one bird's eye, the single most important task that you are going to give your complete, undivided focus to today?